Welcome, everybody. Let's see. I hope everybody can hear me. This first time I've done this, and so I hope it goes smoothly. Let's see. Let's start out by thanking TINS for putting this webinar on. And for the Wildflower Big Year they're putting on, this is actually the third year or the third time they've done it. It's a lot of fun, so I'm looking forward for the rest of the year. And to Rich Chambers, who were able to use his account to do this and record it. So I'm thanking him, and I appreciate that. So if you see Rich Chambers and me talking, that's actually me, Bob Sweatt. So I'm Bob. Okay, starting out with just a little bit about me and my interest in flowers. Okay, I started out in always having interest in flowers, and when I was driving down the highway, I would see something interesting, and if there was room to pull over, I pulled over and took a picture of it. So that interest has always been there. It wasn't until 2016 when TINS put the first Wildflower Big Year on that I started to really get into flowers and IDing them, and to the point of being super overwhelmed and way beyond anything that I was able to do. So I had to quickly come up with some means to help me ID these flowers. Typically, the first Wildflower Big Year, I went out looking for flowers, and I would take between 300 and 500 pictures. Then I would come home and I would have to download them and look at them, and then ID those flowers, which was just, I was up all night. I knew what a columbine was, what a tiger lily was, and those basic flowers, but anything beyond that basically was something that I had to learn. So we're doing this year so we can hopefully help you with your big year and your diagnostic tools to help you so the big year is not quite a task for you. Okay, the important thing to remember is to have fun in this, of course, and do as much or as little as you want. And there's a lot of help out there, so just dig in and go for it. So some of the facts for the big year, the first big year that we did in 2016, there were 5,207 observations and 872 species were found. In 2019, 13,094 observations were put in and 1,050 species were found. This year, up to date, we have 1,090 observations and 201 species. I've been really surprised that the flowers are really blooming early. And so there are a lot of flowers out there. Even right now, I found a lot of flowers in April. So they're blooming. Okay, now some of the things I'm going to talk about may be beyond what you want to hear. So just shut your ears. There may be some people that want to really get into flowers and IDing them. And so I'm going to talk just a little bit about some of the tools that'll help you do that as well. Okay, let's start out with some of the resources that you can use. And I have some handouts that I was going to put in the chat box, but I wasn't very successful. So I think I'll have TINS send out. There's like 3 documents that I'd like to have. Thank you, Kendall. you have your hands on, so it'll help you a lot. Let's talk about the books first. The one I like the most is this book here, Plants of the Tahoe Basin, and that's by Michael Graff. And I'll have that on that handout, so you can, when you get it, you can order it, or you can get it at the library if they have it. He does a really, really good job showing the flowers and then putting in a description of the flowers over here, and even where, in a lot of cases, where to find the flowers. So this is a really, really good resource. I've read it a couple of times, and I've managed to find most of the flowers in here. So I like that. The next book is this Lost Field Guide to the Sierra Nevada. And this one here is a little bit broader. This one, it will take care of the whole Sierra Nevada. So a lot of the well, not a lot, but some of the flowers in the book are not going to be found up here. But that's a very good book. And he's also got birds and insects and all kinds of stuff in here. But you can see the flowers are illustrations, and he talks about them as well. The next one is the step up I was talking about for any of you that feel like you want to get immersed in flowers and botany and want to learn more about the terminology. This plant identification terminology I just got a few months ago, and I'll have this on the handout as well, so you don't have to worry about that. But this one here is a detailed description of every botanical term, and they give the description and then also a picture of each item. Okay, so that's plant identification terminology. And again, that's for somebody that wants to get serious. And the last one is a Sierra Nevada Flora. And this one here is a dichotomous key. And this one here, you would have to know basically the family name, and then from there you would use this to key your flower out. Okay, and again, this is not for everybody. All right, let's see. Another one that I'll have in that handout that I'm going to have TINS send out is this 50 identification. It's kind of hard. 50 identification of the field identification of the 50 most common plants and families. And this is actually a downloadable file on the internet. If you just type that in a search, it will come up. And it's outstanding. And I really like it. Here's an example of the mustard family. It gives you a picture of or a drawing of the mustard and what they typically look at. And then over here, they give you a detailed description of what to expect in that family. And it has 50 families, which is very thorough. We only have, well, Sue Kloss, who's the instructor over at LTCC for the botany, put together another paper called California Plant Families Description. This is really, it's a very handy, short description of the families that you could put this in your backpack and look at it as you find a flower and try to key it out that way. This one will be in that handout as well. Very, very good. Okay. And a good place to get these books that I mentioned is betterworldbooks.com as well as abebooks.com. They typically have some very reasonable prices, and of course the local bookstores and the library as well. All right, let's go and get started with, I want to share with you some of the websites that I have used that I thought were very helpful. And let me go ahead and share that now. Okay, I'll start with Wildflower Search. This is wildflowersearch.org, and they have a an app as well. And the app is it's almost better than the website. The way you use it, you would start by setting a new location here. Just click on that, and then we'll increase the map. Okay, so I zoomed in too much. Here we go. Okay, so I'll go ahead and just put it here at South Lake Tahoe. Obviously, if you're from North Lake Tahoe, you'd want to put the cursor up there. It sets the elevation for you. You can select observation time. If you're looking for a flower in the middle of the winter, you can put in the time as June, for example. We'll leave that the way it is now. Plant category, you can select different categories from all to wildflower, shrubs, fern, grasses, and those types of things. I like to leave it on all plants because if you change it to like ferns and you forget and you type in the name of a flower because you're looking for it, that flower is not going to come up because you're on ferns. So if you leave it on all plants, that eliminates that problem. Now, it has a very good logarithm starting with flower petals. You can ignore them, or you can put in no petals, many, etc. Let's put in 5, okay? And the flower color, you can select any of the colors that are listed here. Let's pick white. The leaf attachment is real important for an ID. You should try to remember whenever you find a flower, whether it has its alternate leaves, opposite leaves, has basal leaves or whorled leaves. We'll ignore the leaf pattern right now. The flower size, you can change from very small, or you can ignore it, very small all the way up to 4 inches. So let's pick very small. And the habitat, you can pick alpine, all of these different down to wetlands or ignore. Let's go ahead and just hit ignore. Okay, so now what it does, it brings all of those flowers up that are according to your criteria. And I have found many, many flowers this way just by scrolling down here. Just recently found the Sierra Baby Blue Eyes, which is a very tiny little plant. So you just scroll down, look until you come to, you find what you're looking for. Let's pick on Sierra Baby Blue Eyes and see what happens. Okay, so now you have the picture, and you have over here, you have some links of different people and Cal Photos that if we pick on Cal Photos, then we're going to get all kinds of images that people have put on Cal Photos. If you pick on Jepson, I wouldn't recommend for a beginner because it is the top of the line as far as source and IDing flowers, but for the average person, I wouldn't recommend it because it's very, very technical. Let me go back. One of the people that I usually like didn't come up there, so I'm going to try to pick another one. Okay, here he is, Paul Schleicher. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but he does a very good job with his images and his description. He gives a very good description that can be read by a person that doesn't know much about the botanical terms. He talks about the petals and those types of things, but he gets the information across. You can scroll down and you see his images there. So I really like his. University of Washington Herbarium is another one that I usually look at. It doesn't have any pictures, but it always has a very good description to work from. So that's the Wildflower Search, and I'll show you the app in a minute. The next website that I like to use is Calflora, and Calflora is a site that would use if you more kind of knew the genus of the plant or the family you could start out with. So here, if you go to search for plants right here, and let's put in aster, for example. And then you do a search. You can also put, it's going to search for all of California if you do that. If you want to do like El Dorado or, Placer or something like that, you can do that. So we do a search. And it's going to bring up 400 matching records of flowers that are in the aster family. So you can see it can be overwhelming as you go down. All right. So let's go back. And you can also put in, whether it's an annual, perennial, biennial, or add those to the criteria. This is something I really like. It's called What Grows Here. And when I click on that, I've used this a lot. When you select your area, and it allows you to draw a polygon. And I actually did that. So I'm going to bring up my saved polygon. And right here, I'm going to bring it down to TINS TBY. So you can see that it's not exactly the big ear BAP, but it's pretty close. And so you can do a search if you're looking for something specific. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to waste too much time here. I should have had something prepared. But you can put the name in there and then click on search. And then down here, it'll come up with how many records have been found in this area. And if you click on, it'll say show records, and you do that, and it'll populate the entire area with the records. And if you click on that one record, it'll tell you where it was found. So What Grows Here is a really nice source if you know the name that you're looking for and you want to find the flower. Wildflowers of Lake Tahoe. I recently found this last year. This is the American Southwest, and believe it or not, the guy lives in England. But as you scroll down, you can see it's got hundreds of pictures, and most all of these I have seen and found up here. So they're definitely flowers of Lake Tahoe. And if you click on one, Heartleaf Arnica, then it gives you the information on the right over here. And it shows you the picture, and then it gives you a very good description of the flower, again, in layman's terms. So I would use that. Down at the bottom, he gives you different shots showing the different aspects of that flower. And by the way, I'll talk about that more, but it's really important when you try to ID a flower that you try to get 4 or 5 pictures of it. Obviously, you'd want the top, we call that the corolla, and shows all the petals. You'd want to get the side of the flower, and this says hairy stems and bracts here. You would want to have a picture of the entire flower. This is called stems and leaves, and then one kind of a close-up of the filaries, because that says a lot. And then if possible, a picture of the basal leaves, all of the leaves, even the basal leaves and the cauline leaves, which are the leaves that grow on the peduncle, the main stem, actually look different. So you can't just take a picture of a leaf on the stem and be able to totally ID that. It's good to have pictures of both. Okay. So that's that website. Cowscape, again, is another one that if you know the name of the flower and you're looking for it, it's kind of that. But it lists the trees that we have in California, shrubs, perennials, 3,700 of them, annuals, etc. So you go down that. And if you want to reference a flower that you think you found, and you can simply type the name in up here, and it will populate. Let's put in. Let's put in dog violet. Okay, so it shows you a close-up of a dog violet, and it has many others. And it also gives a good description down here of the flower as well. So that's the Cowscape. The next one is Minnesota Wildflowers. Yes, it's Minnesota, but a lot of the things are the same. And I use this a lot for some grasses, sedges, and rushes. And rushes are some of the prettiest flowers. They have beautiful florets, and you know, but they're very hard to ID. So this helps you with that. And you go grasses, rushes, sedges down here, and etc. So you can kind of get familiar with that as well. V plants is just a reference, and this is what I used for. I read the Jepson manual as far as terminology, try to understand that better. And finally, I'm getting kind of into that. But for example, here's a leaf composition, a plate, and it tells you about the different leaves and how you can ID them, how the leaves are alternate, opposite, whorled, fascicled, et cetera, et cetera. So that I like this site because of that. And the last one is obviously iNaturalist. Most of you are probably already logged in and have an ID. So I'll go ahead and let's see. My Zoom tab is covering up my login, so I'm going to have to move it. And since I'm not savvy on Zoom, yeah, this is what I have to do. So sign up, you just go here, put your email, make a username for yourself, a password, confirm it, and then click I'm not a robot, and then submit. Since I'm already on iNaturalist, I'm just going to go ahead and log in. Okay, so now it will come up, and let me bring okay, so now we're on my edit observations. This is my page. Let me go through this just a little bit. On iNaturalist, you can explore, and just hit the Explore tab. And if you're looking for a flower, you can see that iNaturalist is pretty saturated with observations. Let's click on Common Self-Heal, which we have up here. And I didn't want to do that. Let's go back. I clicked on the observation. I didn't want to do the observation. I think that's going to, let's see. There it is. Common self-heal. And it will find all the observations that have been put in all over the place. Okay. My computer's not real happy, so let's go to the next. Your observations is right here, and that will show all of your observations that you have. My latest one was Sierra Stonecrop, and I have listed white clover, slender cinquefoil, etc. I don't know why it's taking so long to load. Okay, but anyway, that's that. Here is where you're going to find the big year. If you click on community and then go down to Tahoe Wildflower Big Year, this is where you're going to find. Does anybody know how to change this docking thing? Yeah. Okay. So anyway, we can look and see what the recent observations are here. We can look. It has now 1,117 observations, 202 species, 97 identifiers, 174 observers. Okay, so let's go ahead and upload some flowers. I'll show you how to do that. But the first thing we want to do, we need to talk about the image size. iNaturalist only allows, I think it's 20 megabytes of data per observation. So if you're shooting with an SLR camera, that's not even one image. So you're going to have to resize them. If you shoot with your cell phone, and many people do, which is great because the cell phones have very good quality now, and they actually have, if you have your location services on, it will actually tag the location for you. So when you submit it, you don't have to look on the map where you found it. It's done for you, which is a real nice feature. So you should be able to do 4 or 5 pictures on iNaturalist by using a cell phone. But I want to show you how to resize. And let me bring up another screen. Okay, here's some phlox. I went down to Big Pine last weekend and found a whole bunch of new species for me. I was really excited. This is one of them. This is a new phlox, but I have to resize these before putting them on iNaturalist. And the way you're going to, if you are using a camera that has higher resolution, there's a couple of things you can do. You can actually change the resolution on your camera from very high fine resolution down to a low resolution. And by doing that, by just doing that, you should be able to get 4 or 5 pictures on, because I think the lower resolutions, even on an SLR, is going to be maybe 3 megabytes. I shoot everything at high res because it gives me more detail. And so I like to resize everything. And if you don't have a resizer tool on your computer, if you go to Microsoft.com, and let me actually bring that up first. I'll bring up, let's see. Whoops. Okay, right here. If you go to Microsoft.com and type in Power Toys Resize Tool, you will get this and hit search. And all of these will come up. And down here it says install Power Toys. and that's what you want. You would just go through that and install those. Okay, so now I'll bring up the other screen again. Okay, so now that we have Power Toys and Image Resizer on our computer, I'm just going to highlight all these, and then I'm going to do a right click. And this is, by the way, this is for Windows. I'm sorry again if you have a Mac. I'm sure there's a way to do it on the Mac, but you'll have to do a research on that. Since the image resizer is not here, if you show more options, it will come up. So this says resize pictures right here. So I click on that. And okay, I'm going to, when it says select a size, I would suggest leaving it, picking the large, because you want a higher resolution, but and high enough where people, when they enlarge it, it's not going to get real grainy. Okay, so we'll go ahead and hit the resize, and it's going to make copies of all of those. So now we have, it'll say large for each one. So now we can go back to iNaturalist. Let me go ahead and share that screen again. Okay, so here we are. We've chosen the upload file. Now we're going to choose files. I had this all ready to go, and let's see. Where did you go, Phlox? Well, I went out today and found a bunch of stuff, so I'll just use that. Sorry about that. Okay, so now I'm going to select all of the ones that I resized. There's 4 of them. Okay, now you have 4 of them here. And if I click on the species name, iNaturalist will think for you and try to come up with a species for you. And this is a Nevada Louisa, which is distinguished fairly easily. And it came up as the first one. A lot of times, some of the flowers that you find won't come up. It'll say, we're pretty sure it's in this genus, and this is a Louisa, and it is. And I know it is the Nevada Louisa, so I would just click on that. But you can also go down, look at other of the Louisias that are here. And then if you're not sure, you can click View. And it will bring up iNaturalist pictures of what the Nevada Louisa looks like. And if you click on More, then it's going to populate with all kinds of different pictures. So it's a very, very good resource when you're trying to ID. So we'll close that. And because I know it is the Nevada Louisa, I'm going to go ahead and click on it. and it puts a time automatically from the camera, the location. If you're using your cell phone, it would be in there already, but I'm going to type in Lake Tahoe and it will come up. And now I need to kind of zoom in to where I was. I was in the Washoe Meadows area. So, you know, you can try to be as specific as you can, or, you know, if you want to put it off a little bit, that's okay too. And then we'll update the observation. Okay, now here's the tricky part. If you hit the submit button, if you hit the submit button right now, it's going to submit 4 different observations. You don't want that. This is one observation. And by the way, when you're making an observation, try not to mix the plants. You may have, you know, another flower that's 10 feet away that you say, oh, this is really pretty, I'm going to include that. It's not a good idea. You want to have all the same flower as one observation. And if you want to put the other one in as a separate observation, that's fine. Okay, so now here's the tricky part. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click and hold and drag it over. And then I'm going to click and hold this. You can do it any order. Okay. And because I had my name over here, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that one, put it in there. The one that you have on the top is the one that's going to be the main picture on your iNaturalist observation. But if it's not, I'll show you how you can change it. So I'm going to get rid of this one here because we don't want it. We're going to remove it. Okay, so now we have this one observation, but we have 4 pictures in it. Now, if we want to add more to photos or more observations, I can go back and I can pick found the American Bistort as well. Let me go ahead and I'll just click 3. They're high resolution though, so I really don't think it's going to allow me to put it up. All right, so I'll click on this and it's loading suggestions, and by golly, we got lucky again. American Bistort, that's what it is. So again, if you're not sure, you can click on view and it'll bring up a lot more suggestions for you. All right, so we'll click that, and I'll just bring it over this way this time so it doesn't confuse it. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and submit both of these, and you can keep, oh, before I do that, again, I lost my location because I got rid of that first one that had the location that was not smart. Okay, so we'll have to do that again. Okay, I'll pick it there for that one. And for this location, the nice thing when you do, if you have 10 observations, 10 different species, you can add them all at the same time. And each time that you hit the location, it's already there. So you don't have to type in Lake Tahoe again and find it and do all of that. It's there for you. I'll just go ahead and click it. It's pretty close. So we update, and now we submit 2 observations. Now, like I said, I'm not sure this is going to go because I think it's going to be too large. They would make me a liar. Okay, it liked it for some reason. All right, so anyway, here's our new observation, Nevada Louisa and American Bistort. Now, if you're not happy with the flag picture, the first one, click on it and we can edit it. And if you go down right here where it says reorder photos, just click on that and it's going to bring all your photos up. Let's say I want to have a close-up of the flower being number 1. So I'll put that number 1. And I want to show the entire plant as number 2. So I'll do that too. And then make that the 3rd one. I'm going to update it. But you're not done. If you try to get out of it at this point, it won't save it. You have to save the observation. So be careful. Don't leave before it's finished. Okay, so now we have the American Bistort. Let's see. Okay, as far as what's up here, if somebody messages you, that would be right here. You click on this little envelope, and when it bring down any messages that somebody is maybe asking you a question or trying to clarify a species or who knows what. Right here, you notice this is red and it's got a 2. That means somebody has looked at my, no. Okay, Jared. All right. Jared has already checked my species and he agrees. So we're good. Now we are research grade. Before it was just an observation. If somebody agrees with you, then it becomes research grade, which is nice. Okay, people help you. All right, now let's go ahead and stop that screen. And come back to the main screen. I guess I'm not. Okay, here we go. Yeah, am I on now? Can you see me? Okay, thanks. I like the thumbs up. All right. Now let me show you the couple of things on the phone. This one here is the North California Wildflowers, the one with the looks like a red poppy. All right, that's this app right here, and it's just like the website. It allows you to select the color of the flower, the leaf arrangement, the location, and all of that. Right now it's showing for, let me where it says time and place, I'm going to go ahead and select that. Right now it's just a map of California. So I'm going to go ahead and select our area. I just touch it. Yeah, okay. Anyway, that's close enough for now. You can play with that. Okay, so now it's going to look for flowers that are in our area. So I'll go back, and it's showing 2,793 species up here. All right, so if I click that, it's going to show everything. And you just scroll down. All right, so again, if we want to go back and select the color and those types of things, we can narrow it down a lot so we can get a better search for us. And again, this can be used out in the field without reception. It has its own database, which is really nice. All right, iNaturalist. Get an iNaturalist app for your phone. Both Apple and Android. So let's go ahead and click on that. And this comes up and it shows, you'll have to log in with your login, just like iNaturalist. I'm already logged in, so it comes up to my page. And what I'm going to do now, my last observation, well, it's not the Sierra, we just added 2, right? So if I just pull down, it's going to refresh it, and it should show the American Bistort and the Nevada Lucia, which it did. So it refreshed it. So now I'm going to add another picture, and these 3 bars at the top up here. This is the Android again. If you just tap that, it's going to come down to Explorer and projects. We can actually look at projects here and find the Wildflower Big Year and go through that. And we can go down messages, but at the very bottom, it says new observation. And if I click on that, and I hope I'm not going too fast, it gives you choices. You can either take a picture. Right now, you're looking at the flower that you want to submit. You select that button, says take picture. Okay, if you've already taken the picture, which I did, I took some this morning, I'm going to select choose image. Okay, and now my images are coming up. And guess what I found this morning? Star lily. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and select that. And it's importing the image right now. And right here it says, what did you see? If you tap that, it will load suggestions for you again. So let's do that. And it better come up, and it did, because the common star lily is one of a kind. You're not going to find something that looks like it. So that was an easy one. So I say, yeah, that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and select it. And if you want to look at other species and you want to compare them, you can do that right here by selecting that button. And this will bring up the database, and you can simply go across. And because this flower is so unique that it doesn't bring up many examples. If you had something that wasn't unique like this, it would have probably at least a half a dozen examples to look at. Okay, so I'm happy. Yeah, I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the star lily, and I'm going to select it. And sorry, it's kind of cumbersome showing on the screen. Okay, so now the last thing I do is click on this green arrow, right? Whoa. The green arrow, and that will submit it. Okay, so when we're done with that, we should now we now have a new observation called the star lily. And again, it comes up because I'm using my app. But if you refresh it by just swiping it down, it'll refresh it. Okay, so that's using the app. Oh, and I forgot to mention on that, if you want to add more pictures to that same species, we'll choose it again. I won't submit it though. This one was a sweet honeysuckle. And what did you see? And it's going to come up with suggestions again. And sweet berry honeysuckle is the one. So if you have a unique flower that is kind of looks like no other flower, it's going to find it for you right away, which is really nice. This app really works good in that respect. So I would pick sweet honeysuckle and select it. Now, if you have more pictures and you want to add them, all you have to do is click on the very top, the picture of the camera right here. Just select that, and we'll choose the image again and pick the second image. So it's importing it. Now we have two images on that same observation. So that's the nice thing about it. And since I've already done it, actually, I'm not going to click the green arrow because I've already submitted that observation. So I would just go on my desktop and add more pictures if I want. All right, so that's that. Oh, wow. Okay, we're coming up on an hour. So Not too bad. Surprising myself. Let's see. I want to share something else. Okay, here's that one showing all the books and the websites. If you want to take a picture with your cell phone, or you want to do a screenshot on your computer, you would have that information. But again, I'm going to ask TINS to send these out to everybody. They have all of your emails. So yeah. Oh, wow. Looks,
Yeah,
I haven't even looked.
Bob, we'll send that out to everyone who registered. And then also I've been putting in the websites on the comments. So you can also copy and paste those if you'd like them now.
Oh, great. Great. Thank you. Okay. So is anything on this chat for me?
I haven't seen any questions on the chat. Do you want to open it up to questions now?
All right, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe you can just unmute if you guys have some questions for Bob.
Yeah, and there are a lot of tutorials on iNaturalist as well that will help you as well. So you can go there. And
we had a question about the app Seek. Is there, maybe you could talk about how it's different.
I've tried some of those apps like Seek, and unless the flower is very unique, like the star lily or some of the flowers that are one of a kind, those apps generally have a pretty hard time. I haven't looked at them for a while, so they may have improved a lot. I don't know, but iNaturalist kind of is, as far as I'm concerned, is the best.
Yeah, I'll say that Seek is designed for kids because you don't have to create an account to use it. So, it's got some more privacy settings, but the downside to that is that you only get the AI helping you out. You don't have the community of people who can help you to identify. So sometimes, the AI gets things wrong, or it can only get you, into the right family or genus or something. So, Seek's a good starter, or it's good for kids. And Seek and iNet are basically the same platform. Seek uses iNaturalist automatic intelligence. So
okay,
they're made by the same company. But if you're, really looking to, get more involved with flowers, and again, iNaturalist has, fungus and plant and animals and stuff on it too. I would definitely recommend iNet. If you're just looking for, a quick ID once in a while, Seek can be okay for that.
Okay. Calflora also has a pretty good app for IDing. Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question, if you can hear me.
Uh-huh.
Rosalie Brower. I'm just curious, how do you differentiate if I took a picture and I wanted to go to the Tahoe Big Ear versus I'm out of the basin and I want to add it to iNaturalist?
Okay. If you go to the Big Ear page, the project, and scroll down towards the bottom, you'll see kind of a brownish map. And that is the map of the Big Ear. And it actually, most of it is the basin, the drainage that goes into the basin. The south end of it actually goes all the way down to Round Top Mountain. And then the west side of the boundary goes through Desolation Valley all the way up to and beyond Truckee. I think it goes up around Castle Peak. I would have to look at it. And then north, it goes up above Sage Hen, and then it goes down to kind of Verde, kind of west of Verde, and then it hugs the east side of the lake, right at the peak where Genoa Peak is. It kind of goes along there because it follows the drainage. So that's where you would find the map. And if you put your marker inside that map, it's going to be part of the big year. If you're outside of the map and you put it outside the map, it won't be included.
Okay, that makes sense. I don't have to actually sign on to the big year at that location that tells me if I'm in the big year or not.
Right.
If your observation is taken within that map area, it will automatically be uploaded to the big year.
Okay, great.
Yeah, if it has the location on it, it will do that. But if it doesn't, you're going to have to manually put that marker where you found it.
Okay,
And yeah,
thank you.
you're welcome. Anything else? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Jared, if anybody's looking in the chat, Jared shared that the iNat website is more powerful than the phone app.
Oh yeah.
I know a lot of people prefer the website. I prefer the app just because it's easier for me. But the website definitely does have a lot of things that you can't do on the app. So definitely worth exploring both. So thanks for pointing that out, Jared.
Yeah, they're both great. By the way, if you find any rare flowers, and we do have a lot of rare flowers up here, iNaturalist does not include those in the project. So just FYI. It'll be part of your observation, and your location will be accurate on your page, but nobody else will be able to see it. Anything else? All right.
All right. Well, I just want to say thank you to Bob for putting this together for us and teaching us all so much. I know I learned some things. Bob is leading lots of wildflower walks this summer for us. I think the first one is Saturday, right?
Right.
First one.
Yeah.
And that one is full.
Star lily.
Yeah, that one's full, but there are more walks being added as we go through the year. So keep checking tinsweb.org on the calendar. Keep checking the emails that come out monthly. And yeah, hopefully we'll get to see some people out on the wildflower walks. Thank you, Bob.
Okay, thank you. Thank you everybody for attending, and I appreciate it. And I hope it went okay in my new Zoom teacher. So anyway, I'll say my adieu, and hope to see you guys out on the trail. I know some of you signed up for some of the hikes, so I'll be looking forward to seeing you there as well. All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
You're
Bye.
welcome. So, Kendall, are you there? Okay. We'll go ahead and stop the recording.